Well, that's the kind of sunrise that smoke creates. It sure is beautiful. We had a good night's sleep and we're just packing up ready to roll this morning. Today is very likely the day that we reach Canada. We won't get all the way to Manning Park in Canada and to get to Vancouver and get out, but we will get very close to the Canadian border anyway. So we'll see what the day holds. Well, we just crossed paths with another hiker who just finished yesterday, and his name was Hatchet, and it was a fun reunion because Hatchet is this young guy that we met when we were doing our stint on Goat Rocks. And then after we got done with that, we talked with him for a while and stuff. And anyway, after we finished that, then we went to White's Pass to continue hiking north, and we saw him there again at the Cracker Barrel, that general store that we videoed about then. And such a nice guy, just a super sweet kid. Anyway, so we just crossed paths with him here, and he's all psyched that he's finished, and we congratulated each other. So Hatchet, you're awesome. It was great to meet you, man. It was an honor. Well, I know the fire must still be burning because hikers coming the opposite way here, so you can see it from the top of this climb that we're doing right now. But luckily we've not seen it or smelled any smoke today at all, which is great. Good for my lungs, so I'm just hiking along, enjoying it. Glad that we're getting north fast, because a lot of us out here feel like they're going to end up closing this down again because of that fire in the near future. So hopefully we get past it all before that happens. All right, we're leaving this world behind, and here's our new world. There's a big, huge, snow-covered, or at least has some snow on it, mountain back behind all this, but you can't really see it because of the smoke. I don't know if you can barely make it out or not in that. But that's the best view we have. This is really phenomenal. Wow. Incredible. And we're coming through to see more views. What else is there? I think this is Canada. Not right here, but up ahead. That. Way off there, I believe. Wow, amazing. Well, we have reached the top of our last climb for today, and our last climb for most people doing the PCT in the United States. Ready to go down the other side and just go a few miles to Canada, and then there'll be a little bit of climbing once we get into Canada, but not much, and we don't expect much like this. So we'll have to see though. Can't see very well here, but I'm hoping you can see that mountain out in the smoke. It's beautiful. Anyway, we're almost there. There's Hopkins Lake, which we'll have an opportunity. You can see the trails all up there. It goes down a little lower. We'll have an opportunity to go down to it, but we won't go because it's a little bit off the trail and we don't really have any reason to. So get a good view of it right here and say bye. Well, we came down from the top we'd hiked to earlier, and for the past few hours, I don't know, couple, 2-3 hours, we've been just hiking along the bottom. It's been fairly level. It's been fairly good. There have been a few areas of the trail that have been really overgrown, but otherwise it's actually been pretty nice. If it was like this all the time, it'd be easy. We are very close to Canada, probably less than 2 miles. I'm not 100% sure we're going to make it there. If we find a great tent site, we might stop, but I'm nearly certain we're going to. And, you know, it's interesting because, you know, even though this isn't the end of the hike for us, I do find myself getting excited about getting there, you know, seeing the monument at the end, which is just like the monument at the beginning, which I know hasn't been in these set of videos, but if you watched our PCT videos from last year, you saw us start the PCT at the Mexican border in the same monuments. So anyway, it's getting kind of exciting to get up there and see those or see the monument and, you know, sit up there and take our picture and stuff like that. And you know, it's quite an achievement, even though we still have a lot to do. In fact, you know, there are some people who have done similar hikes to what we've done and continued through, and you know, they're done. They're not going back and doing more stuff. So, you know, in some ways this is a completion and an achievement, but of course then we get up tomorrow morning, hike out, and you know, continue on for another month or so. All right, we are about a 1/4 mile away from the border. We're here. Wow, look at that. Manning Park, 8 miles. Harts Pass, 33, where we came from. Welcome to Canada. Kind of a neat marker. United States. Treaty of 1846. Line established, surveyed and marked. That's pretty neat. And Canada. So that's the borderline and the survey marker. And nothing on this side except a 78, which I don't know what that means. And this is the monument. Pretty neat. All right, we're gonna get some pictures up here. How cool. How cool. And this is the wilderness that we're leaving. All right, time to go find our tent site. Good morning. Well, it is very cold this morning. Our first night sleeping in Canada, and probably our only night sleeping in Canada. It's interestingly, took our pictures and stuff, you know, hung around at the monument there, kind of celebrating reaching this point. And then when we finally finished that, we headed on the trail to get to the little campsite there. And I mean, we probably didn't go 20 feet, and we had to crawl over a blowdown, and then maybe another 100 feet there was another blowdown. And that's kind of held true this morning. I don't think anybody's really doing too much of a job maintaining this section on the Canadian side. You saw the bridge back there about to fall down under our feet. And now we have crossed a bunch of blowdowns. One we had to take our packs off even just to get through it. I'm walking on some logs here trying to get over this mud pile back there. And I mean, the whole trail is just overgrown, and yeah, it's kind of a mess over here, which is sort of funny because when we got to camp last night, there was a team there that were wearing ranger jackets and had chainsaws and things. They said they'd, you know, that's what they were doing. They were cleaning up stuff and getting the camp better and whatever. Anyway, we were kind of wondering this morning how in the world they got there. They had to have crawled over all of these logs with their chainsaws instead of cutting them. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, I'm going to probably have to put this away so we can continue to traverse the jungle here. Our first view of Canada. All right, we're getting closer. PCT trailhead this way. All right, we've come out onto the road. Got a little, maybe half-mile road walk, and then we'll be at the resort where hopefully we can get some information like there's a bus that'll pick us up, or we can get a hitch or something. And I know for sure they have a restaurant, so if we don't find out, like, you know, hey, a bus is coming in like 3 minutes, hurry and run, then we can stop and have breakfast. We're a little surprised that we are 8 miles into Canada, walking on a road, about to arrive at some resort and get in some kind of vehicle and go to Vancouver, and no one's asked us for, there's been no one anywhere to check our passports or see if we're supposed to be here. So I'm pretty sure that'll happen eventually, but I'm not sure when. All right, just getting ready to leave Manning Park on the bus to Vancouver. All right, we're standing in downtown Vancouver, and we've taken one bus already and couldn't figure out how to pay for it. And we're getting ready to take a second bus. Wish us luck. Where's the roommate from? Oh. All right, we're still on the train. We're about 15 minutes from the US-Canada border, going south from Canada. About to have breakfast. Just went back to the food car and got some not so healthy breakfast. And only many, many more hours before we get where we're going, Portland. This is our train here. We've stopped in Seattle for a bunch of people to get off, and they also do a food reload, so that's what this guy down here is doing. And they just load in a bunch of stuff now for lunch into the club dinette car, so we can spend some more money. And the other end of this club dinette car down here is where first class is, I guess. And then we're down here in these cars. So it's just about a 1 hour layover in Seattle. That's the only place we've had a layover. Otherwise, we just stop and let some people off and then just continue on again, 2 minutes later, all the way down the track. So I believe this is the only major stop until we get to Portland. And we still got probably another 45 minutes before we load. All right, we're heading out of Seattle. Next stop, Portland. Actually, we'll probably have to stop, make a couple of minor stops before then, but shouldn't be more than 3-4 hours now. Taking another bus in Portland.